Oh hi, my name is Audrey Marie. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm gonna be going through my entire physical TBR that I own because I have a decent amount of books and sometimes I forget what I have. So this will be a good check-in for myself to make sure I mentally know what I have. A lot of the times I forget and then I go buy more and then it's always growing. And then I never get to the books that I think I was gonna get to. I have the thing where if you don't see it, it's not there. I have that problem really badly and I'm still figuring out how to deal with that. I don't have all my books up at this apartment. A lot of my books are at my parents' house for safekeeping while I'm off at college because I don't have enough space here for all my books to be here. So my parents have a lot of the books that I've already read. These will be disappearing in the next 2 or so weeks because I'll be going back home and this is my last semester, so my backgrounds might change after a while and there'll be less books in my backgrounds. But I have books piled up and I genuinely always forget what I have. So we're gonna pull out the books from the back because they always just get hidden and I can never remember what's back there and I never reach for them because of that fact. So we're gonna pull all these out so I can see everything I have and then we'll count and then I'll go through them with you. Some of these books I got a couple of years ago. So when I was in high school and I never got around to them and my taste in books have changed. I really don't know if I'm even gonna get to some of these. And some of these I've even gotten free from my mom's coworkers. So my mom just gets free books every once in a while from me and I ain't complaining. I've gotten the ones out from the back and that was a lot, but I'm gonna go through the ones that are on my floor first because I'm already overwhelmed by the number and I didn't realize I have this many. I'm gonna start with these two. I have Clips and Breaking Dawn. I have Midnight Sun as well, so I want to get to that, but I don't have that up here. I left Midnight Sun with my parents. I'm excited to get to the rest of the series. I've never read it before, and I've thrifted from Goodwill the entire series, and I'm pretty proud of that achievement. But I wanted to read this series, and I knew Goodwills normally have them, so I just held off, and now I have the entire series. Pretty proud of that. I have Blackbirds of the Gallows. I don't know a whole lot about this book. I got it from Books A Million a couple years back and I was intrigued with it then. I tried picking it up a couple of weeks ago. I think I wanted to pick this up. I even got the audiobook. I just got distracted with school and the holidays because I think I grabbed it right before Thanksgiving and I wanted to read it. I think it's part of a series. It stood out to me because of the colors and this cover and even the chapter headings look really pretty. I don't know a whole lot about it. I'm just excited to get to it eventually at some point. I have the first book of the Assassin's Apprentice series by Robin Hobb. I've heard such good things about this series. I bought it for my dad a good while ago. From what I've heard about this book, this is something my dad would be really interested in, but he's not as much of a reader as I am and he never picked it up. So I stole it back from him because I bought it for my collection and I was lending it to him and he wasn't reading it. I'm really intrigued by this series. I'm just intimidated by the size of the series and the size of the books later on down the road. Here's one of the books that I bought when I was younger and I just never got to read in it. I have the City of Bones book 1 of the Mortal Instruments series. I would love to read this series at some point, but I don't know if I'm ever gonna get to it. This was a big series when I was in high school, I think, and I just haven't gotten around to it, or I don't even know that much about it. So maybe one day I'll get to it. I then have Tamara Pierce, Wild Magic. I bought this on a whim. I really don't know anything about this book besides the bookseller that I went in and I asked her, hey, what book would you recommend for me? She said this book. So I would love to get to it eventually. I think I picked it up and I tried reading it when I bought it and I just could not get into the world. I just had a lot of stuff going on in high school and maybe now I'm ready to pick it up. I've had this book for years and I would love to get to this. I don't have any reason for me not to get to it. Maybe just the age of the character might throw me off a little bit, but I'm really interested in it. I have The Fault in Our Stars. I have never read this book. It was big back in high school. I got it from a Goodwill. So I'm just not ready to cry. I've watched the movie to some extent. The last little bit, I fell asleep and I never went back to rewatch it specifically for the ending. I just know it's a sad book, sad movie. So I'll get to it eventually one day or it'll just be in my collection. We'll have to wait and see. I got before I do, I really don't know anything about this. Oh my god, I got this from Ollie's and the sticker residue is still left there. I was very intrigued by this because the character's name is Audrey. So that was the entire reason I got this, and the cover was purple. Don't really know much about it. Maybe I'll get to it eventually. Maybe I won't. We'll have to wait and see. I have The Dark Witch by Nora Roberts. I don't really know much about this. I've never read a book by Nora Roberts, but I bought this thinking, oh, she has a ton of books. Maybe I would like one of her series. And I was really in a witch kick, and I was very intrigued by this when I bought it. I just got busy with school, so I never fully read it whenever I bought it because I got busy. I think I bought it right before I went off to college, and first year of college I did not read a single book just because of how strenuous my major was. I would like to get to this eventually. It's not on my, oh, I have to read this book as soon as possible. I don't know much about this book, so I don't have any inclination to push myself towards picking this up to read it. So I then have King of Scars by Leah Bardugo. This is off of the entire Grishaverse series. I've read the entire Shadow and Bone series, and I want to get to the Six of Crows series before I pick this up because I know it's all connected. And in the timeline of the world, this one comes after the Six of Crows duology. So I'm going to pick those two up before I pick this up. I got this from Goodwill. Goodwill's my best friend sometimes, but I'm excited to get to this series because it's by Nikolai, and he's one of my favorite characters. So I want to get to this at some point. It's just sitting back there waiting for me to read all the books before this one to get around to it. I love the Shadow and Bone series so much, so I'm hoping I love all the other books in the series as much as I did the first little trilogy. I have the entire collection of the Chronicles of Narnia. I have all of them all in one book. I've read the first one, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, so I have started it. It's gonna take me a while to get through all this just because of how many there are in the series. I really like the first one. Such a simple read, and I listened to it on audiobook, and I just want to get through the entire series at some point. I don't have the last one with me, but I have the entire Anne of Green Gables series. I've read the first one. I have the rest of the series. So I'm excited to get to these at some point. I just want to finish up the world of Anne of Green Gables because it was a fun time, the first one. And I feel like I will have a really fun time for the rest of them. I then have Frankenstein. I got this copy in high school. We never ended up reading it because of COVID coming through, but I want to read through some more classics because I have a little poster of the top 100 books, and some of these books are on that poster, so I want to be able to scratch off some of the other books on that poster besides just a couple of them that I've been. So I have Frankenstein, and then I also have Moby Dick to also scratch off another one. So I want to get to this eventually. I just know I don't normally pick up classics. I just want to be able to scratch off more on my poster and give more classics a chance because they're classics for a reason. I need to dabble in them more. I have Game of Thrones. I have the very first one. I would love to read this at some point. The cover is really pretty in my opinion, so I wanted to pick this up, and I'm a little just intimidated by the size of it. The audiobook is really long. I'm just a little intimidated, and also from what I've heard, the series is not even complete, so I'm a little scared to pick up a series that is so beloved and so thick and long. So I'm a little scared, but I picked up this copy because of the covers. I then have Dune. I don't know if I'll actually end up reading this. I was gifted this a couple of years ago, and it's not really my type of book, but since I was gifted it, I don't know if I'll ever actually let go of this copy. We'll have to wait and see. I have Mistborn by Brandon Sanderson. I was gifted this as a Christmas gift, and I will get to this book at some point. I will get to this book. I have really been on a Brandon Sanderson kick of going through his YouTube channel. I've been so intrigued by him and his books. Just a little scared as well because of how many books he's written and the world. So that's it. Just a little intimidated. That's my only reason. I have The School for Good and Evil. I bought this when it first came out. The movie got released, and now I don't have any drive to read this book. I think I tried reading it at one point, but I'm at a different point in my life. I then have the 50 Shades of Grey book. The very first one, I got it from a little thrift shop. It's a little banged up, and we'll see if I actually end up reading it. So we'll have to wait and see. This is just sitting there waiting for me to grab it at some point, or maybe get rid of it. I have Maximum Ride. It is the first book of the Fugitives. I was really into some of the graphic novels of this world when I was younger, so I figured I would pick up the book. I just haven't gotten around to it. I haven't really heard anybody read this series, so I'm just a little scared. That's my only reasoning. I've got In a New York Minute. I got this for free, so I really don't know a single thing about this book. I've heard good things about it, but I got it for free. Sometimes those free ones get me, and really don't know a single thing about this book. The love of your life could just be a subway stop away. Interesting. Maybe I'll read it this summer. And then have We Were Liars and Family of Liars. I got both of these at a Goodwill. I know they're pretty popular, and I think they made a TV show around We Were Liars. So at some point I would like to get to this. I just keep forgetting I have them because they're in the back of my little cart over here. They're not where I can see them, so they're not on my radar. So I would love to get to these. Probably wait till the summer because of just how summary of a book it seems like they will be. I have the Goddess Test. I was also recommended this book by one of the booksellers, so it's pretty short. I would like to get to it at some point. It's very intriguing. It has some Greek mythology in it and some tests, so I'm intrigued. I have The Perfect Marriage, and I've heard decent things about this book. I constantly have the author of this book pop up on my TikTok and sign in books. I found this book at a Goodwill, so I would like to get to this at some point, maybe in the fall around Halloween. I really don't know anything about this book. It was just another one that I was like, oh, I recognize that off of TikTok. $3 book, mine now, so I had to get it. That was my reasoning for why I got this book. The author seems pretty cool, and I see some of her other books pop up on my feed, so I'll get to it eventually. I just gotta wait for the right time for me to finally pick it up. Then have A Discovery of Witches. I bought this book years ago. I really didn't know a single thing about it. It was just whenever I was on my witch kick. You know, the book got adapted into a TV show. I even tried watching that, and I just was not for me whatsoever, so I highly doubt this book is gonna be. So maybe at some point I'll finally will sell this book because I don't think I'll ever actually fully read it. The cover was part of the reason why I ended up picking it up. Maybe this will disappear out of my collection at some point, but right now it is sticking with me. Now I'm gonna go through these books up here. I have Mr. Fixer-Upper and The Christmas Fix. I first had The Christmas Fix by itself, and then I found out it was a second book in a series. So then I had Mr. Fixer-Upper on my radar for a good while now. These both need to get read. I will probably read this earlier in the year and then wait to read The Christmas Fix until Christmas. So this one will be a good while for me to read, but maybe here soon I'll finally get around to another Lucy Score book because I love her books. I have The Villa by Rachel Hawkins. This was another just off the whim book. Don't really know much about it. It just gives me summer vibes. I heard good stuff about this book from Haley Pham, so I'll get around to it eventually. I don't know a whole lot about it. It gives me summer vibes, island vibes, so maybe I'll get around to it at some point. I'm intrigued. I have Swan Song by Ellen Hilderman. This is another summer book that I'm cutting off for the summertime. That's why I haven't picked it up recently. I got this from Books A Million a couple weeks ago. I also have Beach Read by Emily Henry, another summer read that I've been putting off. I read one of her books last summer, and I just did not want to pick this book up after that because I did not have a good time reading her other books. So hopefully this one will get me back into Emily Henry because I have high hopes for her because she is such a beloved author. I hope this book will reel me into another one of hers. The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. My roommate's been trying to get me to read this book for a good while now, and I got it for free. So maybe I'll get around to it eventually. It's just not a book that I'm gravitated towards picking up. So I have this one. I'm intrigued. Stalking Jack the Ripper. I tried reading this a couple of years ago, and it just was not the time frame for me to read this. It was just after some personal stuff that had happened, and I was not in the mood to be reading about a serial killer romance. So that's why I put that down. I'll get to it eventually. I'm really intrigued by this series and this story, but at that time it was not it, and I've just been a little scared to pick this book up again. I have Never by Jessa Hastings. This one was one of the books on sale at Books A Million. I'm intrigued by this story because it's not anything in the Magnolia Parks world, so it's just a little different from what her other series was, and I'm intrigued by this, honestly. I'm very intrigued by it. I just haven't been able to pick it up yet. I have Good Girl, Bad Blood. This is the book after A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. I read the first one before I watched the TV series, and I really enjoyed the first book of this series. I just haven't gotten around to reading this book yet. I want to continue this series and continue some of the books Holly Jackson has been putting out because I've heard only good things about her series. So I will get to this book eventually. I have Kristen Hanna's The Nightingale. I'm very intimidated by this book. I've heard it's so good. I'm a little scared by what's happening in this book and how it's impacted so many readers. I have a feeling I'll like this book. I will get to it eventually, especially since I think it's filming now, or the movie is in progress, so I will get to it eventually. I have The Dead Romantics. I really want to get to this at some point. I read a novel love story by the same author, and I want to continue in 2 more of her books and her backlog. So I've heard good things about this book, and I just need to get around to it at some point. I have Sweet Nightmare by Tracy Wolff. This is the same author of the Crave series, and I've read the entire thing of that. So I had to pick up another book of her series. I just know the series isn't completed yet, so I'm a little scared to start another series on top of the series that I'm in the middle of, because I'm in the middle of so many series. I'm really excited to get to it. I love the Crave series. I don't see a reason why I won't love this series at all. I have Flamefall. This is the second book in a series that I'm in the middle of. I read the first book and I enjoyed my time reading it. I just wasn't inclined to pick up the second one right after I finished the first one. So this was on sale at Books A Million, and so I picked it up because I want to continue the series. So I'll get around to it. I genuinely enjoy the dragons in the world. I have the last 2 books of the Shatter Me series, which is Defy Me and Imagine Me. I want to finish the series because I've been in the middle of it for over a year now, and I just hadn't bought the books yet. So we will be finishing this series as soon as possible. I have Our Violent Ends. This is the book after These Violent Delights. I did not like the first one. I really hated the first one. I bought this because I'm hoping maybe it'll get better. I'm hoping. I really wanted to enjoy this world. It was on sale at Books A Million, so we'll see if somehow the series can redeem itself. I'm really hoping, but I hated the first book. I have The Rose Bargain. I'm very intrigued by this book. I've seen it compared to a little bit of The Selection in another series. I can't remember what the other series was, but I heard it was compared to The Selection. So I wanted to read The Selection before this, and I read the original Selection trilogy. So I want to get to this at some point. I've heard such great things, so I'm excited to get to it at some point. I have the last one. This was a whim purchase. This was off a whim. My roommate and I read the little blurb in the front of it, and it sounded pretty cool, and the book looked pretty sick. So I bought it just off a whim, and the little blurb on the inside sounded pretty cool. So I don't really know much about it. I want to get to it eventually at some point. I just have so many other books that I need to get to. I'm on my last 2 stacks of books. There's so many. I have Wildcard. It is the last book of the Rose Hill series. I'm trying to wrap up series. I'm just trying to do that because I'm in the middle of so many, but I'm excited to get to it. It's a small town romance, different from any small town romance that I've read before, so I'm excited to get to this at some point. The Ashes of the Star-Kissed King. This is part of the Crown of Nyaxia series. I love the first book. The first book was my favorite book of 2025, so I'm ready to get into this book, into this world again. I could not get enough of the first book. I am just waiting to finish the one series that I'm in the middle of so I can pick up this book. I cannot wait to get to this. And then the most recent books that I've added to my collection because they were all on sale. I have The Stand-In. It was on sale at Books A Million. I'm a really big K-pop fan, and I also watch K-dramas. So I read the back of this, and it sounded like a storyline of a K-drama that I would be interested in. So I picked it up. And same thing with The Comeback. It's the same author, and both of them sounded like something I would watch for a K-drama. I read the back and I was like, oh, this sounds like a K-drama storyline. I am picking that up. You're Coming Home with Me. And also another bargain find. But these were exciting finds, so I'm excited to get to these at some point. And then the last one that I just recently added is Soul Searching by Lila Sage. This is the same author of the Done and Dusted series. I got this from TJ Maxx for like $10, so I got it at like half the price. I'm excited to get to this. I haven't read her Done and Dusted series yet, but I've only heard good things about her writing, so I'm intrigued. I'm very intrigued by this. Also, the cover's really pretty. I enjoy the art style of this cover. Books that I'm currently in the middle of. It's kind of spoiling my next reading vlog, unfortunately, but I am in the middle of The Love of My Afterlife. I'm about halfway, I would say. I'm pretty darn close to halfway done with this book. I don't know how I feel about this book quite yet. This book has been on my radar for a good while, and I just don't know how I feel about it yet. So you're gonna have to wait till my reading vlog for my opinions on this book, because I'm gonna keep you waiting. You gotta go to my next one. And then the series that I've been breezing through recently is the Throne of Glass series, and I have the last 3 books left. This is gonna be so sad for me to get through. I haven't even started these 2 books yet, but my plan is to start them at some point. I'm intimidated by the tandem read that I have to do for these. I don't have to tandem read them, but it is highly recommended to tandem read them. So that's what I'm gonna be doing. So I'm gonna take my time with this so I don't mess it up at all, because knowing myself, there's a high chance of it. And of course, I have Kingdom of Ash as well to finish up the series, because I was gifted the entire thing for Christmas. Don't get on to me. I think that covers all the books on my physical TBR, and I'm very intimidated with how many books there is. I'm really scared to count them all, genuinely. I didn't realize I had that many books I haven't read. I need to stop buying books. I'm also waiting for certain seasons of the years to read certain ones of these. There's at least 4 or 5 books that I'm waiting for the summertime to read. And then I'm just intimidated by some of them, and I need to get over that intimidation because I read 1 book a week at least. So I just need to get out of my head when it comes to reading and being intimidated by series. That's insane of me to say that, because I'm reading the entire Throne of Glass series, and that is a massive series, and the later books in the series are massive. So I think I just need to get out of my head and push myself to read more bigger books and just not feel bad about not reaching my reading goal if that happens. I believe I have 56 books on my physical TBR. That is a lot more than I originally thought. I was not expecting that number to come out. That is insane. I want to get it down by at least 10 at some point. That's crazy. And I've read already about 10 books this year. I'm just proud it's not over 100. That's all I'm saying at the moment. I'm pretty proud it's not over 100. So I have a feeling there's going to be a couple of these that I'm going to sell, because I don't think I'll actually get around to them. But so far, that's a crazy number for me to have. But anywho, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Thank you for taking time out of your morning, your evening, your night to spend it watching this video. Thank you so much. Give this video a like if you liked it. Subscribe to my channel if you are interested in checking out more of what I create for y'all. They're pretty sick videos, if I do say so myself. But thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Bye!